is that heart disease is nothing else than a form of pre-scurvy that can be prevented and treated.
Many inventions of the past never saw the light of day.
Ladies and gentlemen, if my electric current kills, then I deserve to be its victim myself.
Because they were either deemed too dangerous or would, in the long term, prevent certain companies from making huge profits.
This engine off of water, we've also had to learn the ability to adjust the burn rate of hydrogen to co-equal the fossil fuels.
Join us as we look at forbidden technologies and the silencing of their inventors. Williams Xjet. The Williams Xjet, developed by Williams International, was a small, single-person, lightweight vertical takeoff and landing aircraft powered by a modified Williams F107 turbofan engine, designated WR-19-7, with some minor modifications. Because of its design, the craft was dubbed the Flying Pulpit. It was designed to transport one operator and be controlled by leaning in the desired direction while regulating engine output power. It could move in any direction, accelerate quickly, hover and rotate on its axis, as well as remain aloft for up to 45 minutes and travel at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. The United States Army evaluated it in the 1980s, but it was deemed inferior to the capabilities of helicopters and small, uncrewed aircraft, so the Xjet program was halted. 19. The Radiant Energy Device. Dr. T. Henry Moray of Salt Lake City invented the first gadget to extract energy from the meta-frequency oscillations of empty space in the early 1900s. Moray was eventually able to create a free energy gadget that weighed 60 pounds and generated 50,000 watts of electricity for several hours. Ironically, despite frequently demonstrating his gadget to scientists and engineers, Moray was unable to secure money to further develop the device into a usable power station, capable of supplying electrical power on a large scale. Before World War II, Moray worked briefly with the Rural Electrification Agency on the machine's development. At the time, the REA was reportedly penetrated by communist supporters and high-ranking officers with a distinctly pinkish tint. These officials repeatedly pressed Moray to pass over all details of his gadget to the Soviet Union, including arranging for high-level Soviet scientists to visit the Moray laboratory to view the device in action. On the initiative of the communist-infiltrated REA, one person, let us call him Z, spent about 2 months in Moray's laboratory and managed to gain Moray's full confidence. Moray eventually revealed most of the secrets of the manufacture of his special valve to Z, the only person in whom Moray had ever entirely confided. There is considerable evidence that Z was a Soviet operative, and that this was where the Soviets originally got the idea to construct the hyperspace amplifiers that would later be utilized in their psychotronic weapons. Thumbnail. In our thumbnail, we can see a scientist with his hands under a pyramid-shaped object, which seems to be levitating due to the energy emitting from his hands. Is this real or trickery? Why don't you tell us what you think in the comments below? 18. The Hemp Car. In 1941, Henry Ford revealed his prototype for an automobile made almost completely of hemp. The car was dubbed the Hemp Body Car and was intended to be lightweight, sturdy, and inexpensive. The car's body was composed of hemp fibers, soybeans, straw, and resin, with the chassis built of hemp and steel. The automobile was a great accomplishment for its time, and Ford was praised for his creative use of hemp. Not only was the car almost entirely built of hemp, but it also ran on hemp ethanol gasoline. At the time, ethanol was already a popular automotive fuel, but it was often derived from corn or sugarcane. Ford, on the other hand, recognized the possibility of using hemp to produce ethanol fuel, which he saw as a more sustainable and cost-effective alternative to traditional fuels. The car was also extremely efficient, with a fuel efficiency rating of approximately 40 miles per gallon, which was remarkable given the level of automobile technology at the time. Furthermore, the hemp biocomposite body was far lighter than steel, which aided fuel economy. Unfortunately, the usage of hemp ethanol fuel was never widely adopted due to political and economic constraints. The oil industry and the government were not interested in encouraging the adoption of a renewable fuel source that could endanger their enterprises. As a result, the use of ethanol fuel made from hemp was heavily restricted, and eventually fell out of use altogether. 17. Perpetual Motion. Every firm has a narrative to tell, including its origins and the passion that drives it forward. The Vortex Water Revitalize is more than a business. It's a legacy of Victor Schauberger's innovative ideas. Schauberger was a pioneering Austrian forester, inventor and naturalist who dedicated his life to discovering the mysteries of water and its critical role in life, conducting groundbreaking research into living water and vortex water filters. He discovered a wealth of knowledge about water over the course of years of investigation and testing, including its complicated structure and interactions with the surroundings. His work continues to inspire scientists, environmentalists, and water conservationists as they strive to better understand and conserve this critical resource for future generations. 16. Coral Castle. Coral Castle is an oolite limestone edifice designed by the Latvian-American eccentric Edward Leedskalnin. It is situated in an unincorporated area of Miami-Dade County in Florida, between the communities of Homestead and Leisure City. The structure is made up of multiple big stones, each weighing several tons and molded into different shapes such as slab walls, tables, chairs, a crescent moon, a water fountain, and a sundial. It is now a privately operated tourist attraction. Coral Castle is famous for the stories surrounding its construction, which suggest Leedskalnin created it single-handedly, utilizing reverse magnetism or supernatural skills to move and carve the stone. 15. Anti-gravity technology, hidden in nature. Viktor Stepanovich. Grebennikov was a self-proclaimed Russian scientist, biologist, entomologist, and paranormal researcher, most known for claiming to have constructed a levitation platform powered by dead insect body parts attached to the underside. Grebennikov wrote extensive accounts of his flights over the Russian countryside using his levitation apparatus. These flying experiments, as well as his purported sightings of other paranormal phenomena, typically involving insect nests or parts, were documented in his self-published book, My World. 14. Cloudbuster. A cloudbuster was a gadget invented by Austrian psychotherapist Wilhelm Reich. He claimed could cause rain by controlling orgone energy in the atmosphere. The cloudbuster was designed to be used in a similar manner as a lightning rod, concentrating it on a spot in the sky and grounding it in a substance thought to absorb orgone, such as a body of water, which would take orgone energy out of the atmosphere, resulting in the development of clouds and rain. Reich conducted dozens of trials with the cloudbuster, referring to his findings as cosmic orgone engineering. There have been no confirmed cases of a cloudbuster actually operating and creating significant weather change, such as rain. Orgone therapy was always perceived as a pseudoscience. 13. General Motors EV1. The General Motors EV1, often known as the GM EV1, is a battery electric vehicle manufactured by the American automaker General Motors. It was manufactured from 1996 until its demise in 1999. However, the EV1 program ended 4 years later. The General Motors EV1, a subcompact automobile, represented the first mass-produced and purpose-built battery electric vehicles. The EV1 concept dates to 1990, when General Motors debuted the battery electric Impact prototype, which heavily influenced the design of the actual EV1. In 1990, the California Air Resources Board issued a rule requiring the 7 largest automakers in the United States to produce and sell zero-emission vehicles to keep access to the California market. Mass production began in 1996. In its early stages of manufacturing, most of them were leased to customers in California, Arizona, and Georgia. Within a year of the EV1's debut, leasing programs were introduced in several other American states. In 1998, General Motors introduced several modifications to the EV1, including a series hybrid, a parallel hybrid, a compressed natural gas variation, and a 4-model vehicle, all of which acted as prototypes for prospective future models. Despite positive customer feedback, General Motors concluded that electric vehicles constituted an unproductive niche in the automotive business. The business eventually crushed most of the cars, and General Motors ended the EV1 program in 2001, despite customer protests. 12. Project XA. The story of Dr. James D. Mould and his cancer-free cigarette should enrage every smoker and anybody who has lost a loved one because of tobacco smoking. While there have always been rumors that tobacco corporations were dishonest about the health dangers of cigarette smoking, the revelations of Mould's pioneering work and how he was ignored emphasize the tobacco industry's avarice. Mould's pioneering effort on developing a new cigarette that did not cause cancer became known as Project XA. He had Liggett's support to design such a product and worked tirelessly with the A.D. Little Company on the task ahead. After 25 years, Mould invented the XA or palladium cigarette, which used palladium and magnesium nitrate to eliminate cancer-causing chemicals in cigarette smoke. Indeed, in lab testing, these cigarettes were found to be effective in reducing the incidence of cancer in lab animals. Despite the company's initial encouragement, executives withdrew their support for the initiative, and the palladium cigarette never reached production. The fundamental reason for this was simple. The company's lawyers warned that selling a safer product would result in unending lawsuits from the public for the less safe products Liggett marketed. 11. The Hendershot Generator. For more than 30 years, Lester Hendershot worked on an over-unity device that was expected to tap into a magnetic force field. Interestingly, Hendershot appeared to be the only one capable to triggering it, but he was unable to provide a satisfactory scientific explanation for why his invention functioned. Nonetheless, the fuel-less generator was demonstrated numerous times between 1928 and 1960, and its reliability was confirmed by several witnesses, including Charles Lindbergh. A demonstration was even given to the press in the United States, and the equipment passed all assessment standards. Newspaper clippings demonstrate its effectiveness. However, according to Bill Beatty of KeelyNet, Hendershot encountered political issues when promoting his equipment, attempted to expand his business to Mexico, and eventually faded into obscurity. 10. Nikola Tesla's wireless energy transmission. Tesla was widely considered as America's best electrical engineer by 1900, having captivated the globe with his breakthrough innovations and victory over Thomas Edison in the Battle of Currents. He then began his most ambitious project to date, the Wardenclyffe Transmission Tower. The Wardenclyffe facility, built between 1901 and 1905, was based on another of Tesla's groundbreaking concepts. Tesla intended to use the tower to achieve what had previously been thought to be impossible, a global, wireless communication system. The tower would be the prototype for a system that would use the Earth as a conductor to broadcast music, news, stock market reports, secure military communications, and even facsimile images around the world. It was an extremely foresighted attempt to build a telecommunications infrastructure comparable to what the internet provides today, but entirely wireless. But Tesla had a far more ambitious plan for the huge Wardenclyffe Tower. He had already demonstrated that high-frequency signals could be carried wirelessly using his own Tesla coil transformers, which led to what would become a lifelong obsession, wireless energy transmission. Unfortunately, Tesla's lofty ambition for Wardenclyffe outstripped his means and the patience of his sponsors. The project fell into financial difficulties before completion, and the unfinished tower was finally dismantled in 1917 to satisfy Tesla's obligations. What was once a renowned laboratory full of fantastic Tesla innovations is now a desolate memorial to his most ambitious idea. 9. Stan Meyers' water-powered car. Stanley Allen Meyer designed a perpetual motion machine with a non-functional water fuel cell. Meyer stated that an automobile equipped with the gadget might use water instead of gasoline. Meyer's claims regarding his water fuel cell and the car it powered were deemed fraudulent by an Ohio court in 1996. Stanley Meyer died unexpectedly on March 20, 1998, while dining in a restaurant. Meyer's brother reported Meyer abruptly went away during a meeting with 2 Belgian investors, stating they had poisoned him. Following an investigation, Grove City Police concurred with the Franklin County Coroner's report that Meyer died of a brain aneurysm due to high blood pressure. Some Meyer fans believe he was slain to prevent the spread of his ideas. Philippe Van Mortel, one of the Belgian investors, indicated that he had been financially supporting Meyer for several years and regarded him as a personal friend, and that he had no idea where the stories originated. 8. The tragic story of Royal Raymond Rife cancer cure. Royal Raymond Rife was an American inventor and pioneer of high-magnification time-lapse cinematography. Rife is best known for his microscopes, which he claimed could examine live microorganisms at magnifications previously thought unattainable, as well as his oscillating beam ray innovation, which he said could treat a variety of maladies by devitalizing disease organisms using radio waves. Although he worked with scientists, doctors, and inventors of the time, and his findings were published in newspapers and scientific journals such as the Smithsonian Institute Annual Report of 1944, they were later rejected by the American Medical Association, the American Cancer Society, and mainstream science. Rife proponents continue to believe that electromagnetic frequency shocks can destroy malignant cells and other disease-causing germs. Most of these claims are unsupported by scientific research, and Rife machines have not been certified for treatment by any health authorities worldwide. Multiple promoters have been convicted of health fraud and sentenced to prison. 7. Thomas Townsend Brown Electrogravitics. Thomas Townsend Brown was an American inventor who believed he had developed a sort of anti-gravity induced by high electric fields after doing study into unusual electrical phenomena. Instead of an anti-gravity force, what Brown observed has typically been attributed to electrohydrodynamics, the movement of charged particles that transfer their momentum to surrounding neutral particles in air, often known as ionic drift or ionic wind. For most of his life, Brown worked to create gadgets based on his concepts and promote them for use in business and the military. The phenomenon became known as the Biefeld-Brown effect and electrogravitics. Brown's findings inspired several amateur experimenters to create ionic propulsion lifters operated by high voltage. There are still reports that Brown found anti-gravity, which is popular among the unexplained flying object community and has spawned numerous conspiracy theories. 6. Harry Hoxsey's persecuted cancer treatment. Hoxsey therapy, also known as the Hoxsey method, is an alternative medical treatment that claims to heal cancer. The treatment comprises of a caustic herbal paste for exterior cancers or an herbal mixture for internal cancers, together with laxatives, douches, vitamin supplements, and dietary modifications. Major medical agencies, such as the United States Food and Drug Administration and the National Cancer Institute, have found no proof that Hoxsey therapy is a successful cancer treatment. On September 21, 1960, the FDA prohibited the sale and marketing of the Hoxsey method in the United States, labeling it a worthless and discredited cure and form of quackery. The Biomedical Center in Tijuana, Mexico, is currently the primary marketer for the Hoxsey method. Hoxsey therapy is also marketed over the internet. In June 2008, the FDA National Health Fraud Coordinator stated that there was no scientific evidence and that it had no value in treating cancer. Yet consumers can go online right now and find all sorts of false claims that Hoxsey treatment is effective against the disease. 5. The Feebas cartel and the birth of planned obsolescence. Between 1925 and 1939, the Feebas cartel was an international cartel that monopolized the production and distribution of incandescent light bulbs throughout Europe and North America. The cartel seized over market territory, shortening the functional life of such bulbs. On January 15, 1925, Tungsram, Osram, General Electric, Associated Electrical Industries, and Philips incorporated the cartel as Feebas plc Industrial Company for the Development of Lighting in Geneva. Although the organization intended for the cartel to continue 30 years, it suspended operations in 1939 when World War II broke out. Following its breakup, light bulbs continued to be sold with the cartel's 1,000-hour life standard. In 1949, the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey ruled that General Electric had violated the Sherman Antitrust Act, owing in part to its involvement in the Feebas cartel, while acknowledging that it should be borne in mind that the life of a lamp is inextricably related to the power of its light. The decision found that General Electric's dominant industry position and lack of competition gave it the power to determine bulb lifespan across the entire industry, and that General Electric's primary consideration in setting bulb lifespans was profit. The court considered this when deciding that General Electric had violated the act. 4. Linus Pauling's controversial vitamin C therapy. Linus Carl Pauling was an American chemist, biochemist, chemical engineer, peace campaigner, author, and teacher. Pauling was among the pioneers of quantum chemistry and molecular biology. His contributions to chemical bond theory include the concept of orbital hybridization, as well as the first precise scale of elemental electronegativities. In his later years, he championed nuclear disarmament, orthomolecular medicine, megavitamin therapy, and nutritional supplements, particularly ascorbic acid, sometimes known as vitamin C. None of his claims about the medical benefits of huge dosages of vitamins have received widespread recognition in the scientific community. 3. The cold fusion controversy and Eugene Malv murder. Eugene Franklin Malv was an American physicist, science writer, editor, and publisher of Infinite Energy magazine, as well as the creator of the nonprofit New Energy Foundation. He was a proponent of cold fusion and its investigation, as well as other experimental alternative energy subjects that are frequently referred to as fringe science. Malv wrote the book Fire from Ice, which details Stanley Pond's and Martin Fleischmann's 1989 report on tabletop cold fusion at the University of Utah. Among other things, the book claims that the team produced greater than unity output energy in an experiment that was successfully replicated several times, but that the results were suppressed through an organized campaign of ridicule from mainstream physicists, including those studying controlled thermonuclear fusion, to protect their research and funding. Malv was killed in 2004 while clearing out his previous childhood house, which had been rented. 3 people were arrested and accused in connection with the incident. 2 were convicted of first-degree manslaughter and murder, while the 3rd pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice. 2. Paul Panton and Xjet technology. Paul Panton created the well-known global environmental energy technology known as Xjet. According to many, he was railroaded through a series of bizarre legal maneuvers by powerful and corrupt conspirators into a state mental hospital in Provo, Utah, where he currently resides. He's meant to be inept for saying that his system can fuel a car with primarily water, and for not getting along with Utah code-compliant sacked attorneys who betrayed him. Never mind the roughly 200 Xjet devices in the United States that are already running primarily on water. In May 2009, a corrupt judge in Utah released Paul Panton from his illegal detention, and he is now accessible to help researchers improve their Xjet application. Paul Panton has made over 180 discoveries and is currently attempting to duplicate them for the benefit of the global scientific community. The topics covered span from Xjet to medical and natural issues. Paul Panton has hundreds of other innovations and is looking for someone to market them. 1. Rudolf Diesel and the diesel engine. Rudolf Diesel created numerous heat engines, including a solar-powered air engine. In 1892, he sought for a patent and was granted a development patent for his diesel engine. Rudolf Diesel's prime model, a single 10-foot iron cylinder with a flywheel at its base, powered itself for the first time on August 10, 1893, at Augsburg, Germany. That same year, he was granted a patent for the engine, as well as another for an improvement. Diesel spent 2 more years improving his model, and in 1896, he exhibited another with a theoretical efficiency of 75%, compared to the steam engine's 10% efficiency and that of other early internal combustion engines. Work continued developing a production model. In 1898, Rudolf Diesel was granted U.S. patent number 608,845 for an internal combustion engine. Following his death, diesel engines became widely used in automobiles, trucks, ships, trains, and other vehicles, and they remain so today. Modern diesel engines are refined and enhanced versions of Rudolf Diesel's initial invention. It's obvious that some of these inventions were blocked by greedy industrialists. What is your take on this? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. Thank you for watching and see you next time.